Hi, Eric. Time to crack that whip. Love you, Eric.
All right, pre-algebra, chapter 8, section 3, applying equations, which means you're going to define a variable, you're going to write your equations and solve them to be able to answer the question, right? So here's skill set number 1 on page 323. The sum of 2 times a number and 3 is half the number is the big word. It's a small word, but it's a big word. That means you're equal, okay? So twice a number, the sum of, so you know there's a plus there, this. The sum of twice a number and 3 is half the number. So what I do when I have a fraction, like I'm just going to multiply by the denominator. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to just get rid of the fraction. So that's 4n plus 6 equals just n. And now I want to get the variable, the constants on the left, so I want the variables on the right. So minus 4n minus 4, and put a 1 there. Keep me from messing up. So that's negative 3n. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Good guys and bad guys is a fight. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Multiplying and dividing, and the signs are different. My answer is negative 2. N equals negative 2. So I could check. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. And half of negative 2 is negative 1. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. Anyways, n equals negative 2, where the number is negative 2. Write your sentence. Number 2, 5 times the sum of a number and 3. So this is 5 times, like the sum or the difference. This is 5 times the sum of a number and 3 is 6 less than, so I write minus 6. 6 less than twice the number, 2n. So there it is translated. So I'm going to distribute. So 5n plus 15, I'm going to multiply both of those by 5 equals 2n minus 6. And now I'm ready to solve. So get the variables on one side. I go after the smaller one. So 3n plus 15 equals negative 6. Minus 15 from both sides. 3n equals bad guys and bad guys. That's a lot of bad guys. Divide by 3, divide by 3, n equals negative 7. Again, I could check. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Minus 6 is negative 20. So I'm right. I know I'm right. Okay, so that's skill set number 1. Now skill set number 2 is when you have some consecutive numbers here, kind of thing. So the first one here, find 2 consecutive integers. So let n be the first one and n plus 1 be the second one. And when they're even or odd, the first one's n, and the second one's going to be n plus 2, whether it's even or odd. And the third one would be n plus 4. Anyways, number 1 here. Find 2 consecutive integers whose sum is 91. So here's the first one plus here's the second one is going to add up to 91. And if you want to put that in parentheses, here's the first and the second, or maybe underline. Anyways, 2n plus 1 equals 91, and away I go. So 2n equals 90, divide by 2, divide by 2, n equals 45. So the first consecutive number is 45, and the second consecutive number is 46, and those add up to 91. Number 2, find 2 consecutive even integers whose sum is 94. So let n be the first consecutive even, and n plus 2 be the second consecutive even integer, right? So find 2 consecutive even integers whose sum. So It's the first plus the second adds up to 94. Here's the first, here's the second, adds up to 94. So 2n plus 2 equals 94. Now I'm ready to solve. 2n equals 92. Divide by 2. N equals 46. So the first is 46, and the second has to be 48, and those would add up to 94. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. And then number 3, you got 3 consecutive odd integers. So n is the first, n plus 2 is the second consecutive odd integer, and n plus 4 is the third consecutive odd integer, right? So find 3 consecutive odd integers such that twice the first, so 2n is 7 more than the third. Well, the third is n plus 4, and I'm just adding 7 to it. I don't need the parentheses. I can put the parentheses if you want. Anyways, so you got 2n equals n plus 11. And so I'm just going to subtract 1n from both sides. So just n equals 11. So you put a 1 there if you want. So the first consecutive odd integer is 11. So the second one is going to be 13, and the third is going to be 15. And if I double the first one, that's 22, is the same thing as adding 7 to the last one, which is 22. So I'm right, and I know I'm right. Okay. And the last skill check is over here, and you're just going to use this formula, D equals RT, but you might have to modify it where you have 2 different rates, and either you're adding those, like if you're going with the current downstream, then you're going to add the current. If you're going against the current or against the wind, then you subtract, right? So it just depends. Anyways, number 1, Olympic sprinter runs 100 meters in 9.8 seconds. So here's your formula. Trying to find his rate, and it's times 9.8 seconds. So you're just going to divide both sides by 9.8. And if I use my calculator, it ends up being 10.2 blah blah blah. 10.2 equals R. So R equals 10.2 meters per second. That's his average rate. Number 2, you're in a boat. It can go 25 miles per hour in still water. It's going 110 miles per hour upriver in 5 hours. What's the rate of the river? So it's going 110 miles in still water. It's going 25 miles per hour. We don't know. X is going to be the current, river current. We don't know what that is. And you're doing this in 5 hours. So I write the formula, I tweak the formula for the problem. I define my variable, and then I'm going to distribute. So that's 125 minus 5x. And now I'm going to solve. Subtract 125 from both sides. So negative 15 equals negative 5x. Divide by negative 5. 3 equals x. X equals 3. The river current is 3 miles per hour. There's my sentence. It's a good idea to finish with a sentence. You know, or I should write a sentence. The river current is 3 miles per hour and have a period. Anyways, last one here. Oops, I just dropped my glasses. Sorry about the jerking around here. So a jet takes off, takes 2 hours. That's going to be your time. To complete a flight of 680, that's your distance. Flying into a headwind, 65. So it's going to be, this is my formula. I'm going to say X is my headwind and R is just my speed of the plane. Right? So he's going 680 miles per, we don't know the speed of the plane, but the headwind is 65 miles per hour. Oh wait, yeah. And then the time is 2 hours. So I'm gonna distribute, I'm gonna multiply both those. That's 2r minus 130. So I'm done. I copy, I tweak my formula, I define my variables, I substitute, now I distribute, and now I'm ready to isolate my variable, which is one definition of solving an equation. Divide by 2, 405 equals r equals 405. So the plane speed is 405 miles per hour. There we go. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. Love everybody.